Your Excellency, Minister Tefere Debreu, Minister of Agriculture of Ethiopia, Mr. Schengen Fen, Director General, International Food Policy Research Institute, honorable ministers, participants, colleagues from the United Nations, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like really to thank and to congratulate IFPRI for organizing this conference and for associating and inviting the Food and Agriculture Organization. I would like to thank the government of Ethiopia for hosting this conference, what has been usual, and I think Ethiopia has been a capital of accepting and hosting such kind of meetings. I would like really to apologize. I am one of the last speakers. When we are the last, we repeat what has been said, but please forgive me if I am repeating what you have already listened. Indeed, it is a great honor for me, on behalf of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, to be part of this important conference organized and aimed at brainstorming together on how we can scale up our actions in order to strengthen the resilience of the most vulnerable towards their boosted food and nutrition security. Indeed, prevent disasters, reduce vulnerability, and provide assistance in recovering from shocks in a sustainable manner. In other terms, building resilience are vital elements of our common quest. Building resilience is furthermore a prerequisite for socioeconomic growth, as it provides a catalyst for livelihoods improvement and diversification, leading to increased and more stable household incomes. Resilience-based interventions are not a new phenomenon. However, in light of recurrent patterns, we should all recognize the urgent need for a paradigm shift in programming, taking into account the short-term needs of the population while setting the foundation for a long-term development. In this regard, FAO welcomes the remarkable commitment of both development and humanitarian actors to put together and forward the resilience agenda by coming and putting together joint efforts towards a shared vision. I think today we are all sharing a shared vision. What is resilience about? Over the past decades, disasters have caused an estimate, and I repeat, 1.3 trillion US dollars. 1.3 trillion US dollars coming from disasters in damage affecting almost 3 billion people. 3 billion people. Conclusions from the recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it has been already mentioned, working group reports confirm climate change and climate variability can compound other major threats, resulting in protracted crisis and widespread vulnerability. It has already been mentioned that climate-smart agriculture is not the solution, but could be one of the solutions, and resilience is part of this new approach on climate-smart agriculture. And we hope in the Climate Summit in September, we will be able to launching the Climate Smart Alliance. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, vulnerable households and rural communities, smallholder farmers, women, should be at the core of our attention as they constitute the most at-risk target in times of crisis and disasters. Impact-oriented interventions aimed at strengthening their resilience and improving agricultural production and productivity, including fisheries, livestock, and forestry-related actions in a value chain approach, are indeed essential in ensuring sustainable livelihoods, poverty reduction, food and nutrition security, food safety, and economic development. In addition, healthy and diverse ecosystems are more resilient to hazards and, in turn, reduce people's vulnerability and exposure. This calls for a sustainable management of natural resources, fisheries, forests, land and water, as well as prevention, monitoring, and early actions to prevent the spread of transboundary plant and pest diseases. A special attention has to be given to nutrition. Individuals who are well nourished are more resilient. Excellencies, increased resilience is now a corporate priority for FAO, and a substantial assessed contribution is for the first time supporting this agenda. Our work cuts across several interrelated dimensions, from research, developing policy frameworks for disaster risk reduction to response. Our approach builds on the 3R protocol: relief, recover, and resilience. Though we cannot always prevent droughts, floods, or other disasters from happening, we have a shared responsibility to timely intervene and make sure that the next shocks will not lead anymore to any humanitarian crisis, or even worse, to a famine. To achieve this paramount objective, a systemic and effective twin-track programmatic approach at the basis of the resilience mantra is more and more required, and a multi-sector, multi-level, and multi-stakeholder and multi-year engagement are fundamental. Allow me to highlight that the whole of governments and the private sector is likewise crucial. Indeed, the private sector plays an essential role in service delivery, establishing networks, financial services, and partnership with local communities. However, without a strong political will, good governance, legal framework, and solid public policies, public-private partnership can result neither fruitful nor sustainable. Promoting and creating a deal between government, civil society, private sector, farmers' organization, and communities is indeed key in building resilience, as the mutual benefit and impact is much more effective. The role played in this deal by the international organization and institution is also critical. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Food and Agriculture Organization is contributing, as it has been mentioned by David Nabarro, through the Committee on World Food Security to the elaboration of an agenda for action for addressing food insecurity in protracted crisis, a policy framework to further galvanize political commitment. We solidly partner on the ground with our sister agencies, and in this regard, let me commend the successful FAO, WFP, UNICEF joint resilience strategy in Somalia. At regional level, we partner to support IGAD, establishing a resilience analysis unit. A similar effort is underway with fields in the Sahel. FAO is also working with the African Union Commission and countries in the implementation of the Great Green Wall for the Sahara and the Sahel to improve resilience in dry lands. Ladies and gentlemen, 2015 is just around. FAO and United Nations are playing a facilitating role in the global conversation on the new post-2015 framework. Indeed, we anticipate resilience to have a predominant role in the post-2015 agenda, being resilience a precondition for sustainable development. To conclude, I would like to call for a paradigm shift from reactive crisis response to a more sustainable partnership-based approach, and to encourage the entire humanitarian and development community to focus on complementary efforts and more resilience actions where most needed on the ground. And I thank you for your attention and wish you a fruitful meeting.